Yes, my people, so today we're gonna break down a loop that we made for someone like Drake and Future. Kenzo sent me a crazy starter, I finished it, and then Luke put the drums on it. So all three of us are gonna break down what we did for the loop, and we're gonna start by sending it straight to Kenzo, and yeah, he's gonna break down what he did.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's me, Kenzo. Hope y'all are doing well. Today, I've been invited by Mr. ItsaKaiBeat himself to show y'all some of this work that I did on the sample that we had just made. All right, and really, that's all I need to say. I don't need to say nothing more because it came out crazy. All right, so let's stop wasting all this time. Get straight into the video breakdown right now. All right, so we're here in Ableton Live. It's my favorite DAW of all time. I got the sample pulled up right here. We're gonna break this down. Here's what we'll do. I'll go ahead and play each track individually, show you each little effect that I put on there, and then afterwards we'll play the entire thing by itself and then send it back over to Kai, show you what he did on it. All right, so let's start off here with the EP1. Let me pull it up real quick. It's just a nice old electric piano, like a Rhodes type sound thing, you know. It sounds really good. What I did for it is I added some decimort, put it down just under 22 kilohertz, to make it sound more vintage, you know, make it sound more like old school types thing, you know. Then I added some Valhalla vintage verb, just, you know, a little bit more aggressive because this isn't the main idea of the chord progression, but it's just little accents, as you can see right here, because this is arpeggios just going up the major scales. Let me go ahead and play this for you real quick. Sounds great, right? Very lush, very demure, one might say. All right, let's go on over to Repro 5. This is a very nice synth. I'll show you the preset that I used. It is called Vega. All right, it's very nice, very soft, not too harsh. And the effects that I put on here is just a little bit of EQing from FabFilter Pro Q3. Took out a lot of the low end and even more high end. The reason I took out so much high end is so it gives this guitar more space, because these are also chords here. So let's go ahead and play the Repro 5 real quick just to give you guys an idea of what it sounds like. Really, that's just, you know, in the background, just makes it more full, you know what I mean? I didn't want it to be too overbearing and not too harsh on the entire overall sound, so put it down a little bit more just under the guitar to make it sound more full. All right, so here we have the next part, which is the electric guitar, which I played by myself, obviously, because I'm a great guitarist. Here we have just some more chords, just some more nice chords, make very lush chords, make it sound really full. Let's go ahead and play this, but before that, I can't show y'all this. This is my personal preset that I'm gonna be sending out a kit soon anyways, but I can't show you that, unfortunately, sorry. But I can show you this. I have a little bit of an EQ here, just taking out some of that low end, not too much, just to make it sound full again, as I've said a million times already, and some more Valhalla vintage verb to give it that lush, full, great spacey sound, you know, but not too much, you know, just enough. So let's go ahead and play this real quick. It sounds great right there. I love that these little two notes right here. It really adds a lot of character to the entire sample. Yeah, but that's the main guitar. Now we have two more guitars to go through, and these are just little accents to make it seem more, give it a little bit more motion, right? And as you can see right here, it's the same preset. It's the same thing, really. Only difference is in the reverb. It might just be a little bit less on the mix. And then it's the same EQ as well. So let's go ahead and play this. You'll hear it. It's just a little accent going, wah, 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 just to make it a little bit more movement. You see? That's all it is. you know, just giving it a little bit more motion, as I said. This next one is the top line, which is probably my favorite part. And it is the same, except right here we added some S1 imager. All right. And this is just to make it more wide. All right. Just give it some width, make it sound like outside of the mix a bit. All right. And if we play all these guitars together, you'll get a general idea of what I was going for right here. So let's go ahead and play this real quick. You know, it all complements each other so very well. I love that. All right, now let's lastly move on to this bass, and the bass is a Rickenbacker bass. All right, the only thing I had an issue as far as the bass went was it's very harsh by itself. So what I did is I took down all the treble in the equalizer, turned up the bass a bit more, and put the pickup to the neck pickup and turned down that tone knob just a little bit more, just to make it sound more muffled, give it just mainly bass, because I really don't want the harsh sound of the top end from that bass. All right, so this is what it sounds like by itself. No effects on it. We did the EQ within the plugin, which is perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and listen to this. Right, it's just a nice bass sound, just playing the root notes of everything, giving it a little bit of accents right here and here, as well as here, just to give it more movement. But yeah, that's about everything for this. That's about all for this entire starter that I have. The rest is up to Kai to show y'all. Let me go ahead and play the entire starter for y'all, the sample. So yeah, let's go ahead. Bass is coming right here. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for having me on, Kai. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move over back to you. And thank y'all again. Have a good day. Stay blessed.
So as you guys can see, Kenzo went absolutely crazy on the starter. So my idea going forward with it was to just bring it to life a little bit more. I didn't want to add too much and go crazy. Everything I add, I want to accent and just accentuate the vibe that the loop already has. So we started by adding these perk loops and perks, and they sound like this. So I started off with the first perk loop. I added this perk loop by YoKxnzo from one of his kits. I then added a second perk loop from my upcoming kit. And then I took a couple of kicks and like a snare almost, and I just created another little bounce using those. And then lastly, these chimes. They're super dull, they're not bright at all, they're just kind of in the background, just creating a nice texture. I then added what might be like my favorite part of the loop, is this little guitar phrase. It's so simple, but I feel like it just brings the loop to life. So that sounds like this. Next, I wanted to add a transition into the main section of the loop. I didn't want to use a riser, so instead I used some strings. The strings I used in this are the Bohemian strings from Falcon. I had to export it because it takes up a lot of CPU, but this is what the string section we added sounds like. So already you can see we're creating a crazy vibe. So for the effects on that Bohemian strings, we've got an RC20. I cut out a lot of the highs and the lows, but apart from that, it's on the default preset. I just turned off the noise. We got an S1 imager, a pancake, because again, I want this to be super atmospheric. We added a reverb, and then an EQ ducking some of the mids and highs again, because if I didn't do this, it was just standing out way too much in the sample, and I just want it to slot in the background, and you're just kind of feeling it. Next, I use my Prophet we played these chords, and it sounds like this when exported. It just gives it that super analog feeling to the sample. And for the effects on it, we just added a EQ, a reverb, S1 imager, and then an EQ. When using synths, they have a lot of mids and it gets kind of muddy, so I just like to take it out. So next, I just used my guitar to accentuate some of the chords. So it's these here, and it sounds like this. So I used automation on this because I didn't want the delay playing throughout the whole guitar, but there's like a slap at the end that I wanted to be delayed. So look, I'll play it now. Super simple, but I feel like even that little texture just adds so much to the sample, adds movement. So for the effects on the guitar, we used Amplitude 5 amp with this preset, the Jazz Amp 120. I used the Spring Reverb on the Soaked in Springs preset, an S1 imager. The delay is automated. We used the CLA compressor, and then an EQ taking out a load of frequencies. I think because of the Springs Reverb, it creates some harsh frequencies, so I had to just take a few of them out. Next, I chopped up this guitar phrase from a kit that I'm dropping this month. I chopped it up and just rearranged it to how I liked it, and this is how it sounds. And then all together in the sample, it sounds like this. So at this point, I thought the vibe was perfect. I thought it was as full as it needs to be. And all that was missing was a vocal just to carry it. So we added these 3 vocals, and they sound like this. And for the effects on them, it's super simple. Just a reverb and the EQ. So that's the finished loop. As you can see, super simple, super ambient, just a load of textures. But now it's time to send it over to Luke, and he's gonna break down his drums.
Yo, what's good, boys? It's Luke. I'm here to break down the drums on this loop that Kai and Kenzo just went absolutely crazy on. Let's get into it. So the first thing I added as soon as I heard this loop, I knew it needed some like live drum percussion sounds. So I went ahead and added this from a crate bundle. It's actually a fill, but what I wanted was just that beginning bit, and it sounds like this. And from here I knew I just needed to fill it out with just some standard hard hitting drums. So we got the kick, the snare, and a few percussion elements added. See, I really liked how that sounded, but I just wanted to play with a bit more sounds in the open pockets. So I ended up adding a bunch of open hats. We got 4 in here, and they really only play towards the end of the bar just to give it a bit of like a breakdown feel. But this is exactly how it sounds. After that, all it really needed was a drum fill and an 808, so I ended up adding both of those from my personal drum kit. I also ended up adding a hi-hat just to carry it in the second part of the hook, just to give it a bit more energy, and this is what it sounds like. As you can see, I kept this one super simple. There's just a few sounds in there, and each one has its own space. The loop is absolutely crazy, and I know an artist would sound good on it, so I didn't want to go too crazy on the drums and fill it up everywhere. It's just unnecessary. So for placement beats like these, keep it simple. So yeah, boys, they're the drums I ended up putting down on top of this loop. I just want to give a massive shout out to Kai. Thank you for having me on the channel, bro. Hopefully I'll be back again soon. Let's keep killing it, bro.
Yeah, this one came out crazy. Super happy with it. I just want to say a big thank you to Luke and Kenzo for coming on the channel. Their Instagrams and things like that are going to be in the description. And if you want them back on the channel, just let me know. I make beats and loops with them all the time, so we can definitely make that happen again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.